Alright, coming up are the railroad tracks, guys. So I'm going to go over it fairly slowly, but I want you to hear this, guys. Here we go. Railroad tracks coming up. Listen to the sound. You hear that? It sounds really, really loose. Alright guys, the first thing that we're going to do is we need to remove the rear suspension height sensor, which is right here. The rear suspension height sensor must be disconnected from the lower control arm, which is this one. We'll remove this. This is a 10mm bolt right here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and position the rear height sensor arm bracket aside. Just like that. In order to remove the harness, you got to go all the way underneath. Make sure your car is leveled. Get your hand in here, depress this tab there. Depress down and pull with the other hand. You may need two hands to do it. Just push down and pull. Now it is released. Now you can remove all portions of the shock absorber in the rear. It is totally useless now. Next, we need to support the rear suspension to ride height. So we're going to use this jack and place it right underneath the lower control arm. What we're going to do is we're going to go below and remove the two rear shock absorber lower bolts. Right here and right there. Two lower shock absorber bolts are 15mm bolts. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go underneath and go ahead and remove them. Alright, place your bolts aside. We're going to go ahead and use an 18mm socket to remove these two bolts. Look at this. Look at this. This is done. You see that? This is toast. Look at that. Alright, this needs to be replaced. Let's do it. Dust. Look at that. That's it. Okay, but this is how it looks, guys. You see? This is 100% toast. Look at all the oil, all the stuff that's just been leaking since 2012. All the gas is gone. So that's what's causing it to make all this noise. So here goes the definitive proof that the rear shock absorber strut is totally toasted. Go ahead and take a look. You see, when I move this bellows boot down, I can move this with just minimal force. Look at that. You should not be able to move a strut or shock absorber just like an accordion. You see that? The gas essentially exploded, which caused every single bump to just sound like it was metal on metal. You see that? This is not good. It should not be an accordion. This particular strut mount doesn't seem so bad. We do need to take off this strut mount because we need to still use this bellows boot. This bellows boot is still good, even though it's all rusty and dusty. It's perfectly fine. You need this because when you buy this entire shock absorber, it's not coming with this at all. So what we're going to use is a either 15mm or 5/8 socket to remove this, but it has to be a deep socket. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this pipe wrench. I'm going to place it right here. I don't have vice grip, so this will be my vice grip. I'm going to tighten it up really tight right here. There you go. And it's off. See, you don't really need a vise. all you need is a pipe wrench. Strut mount came off perfectly fine. It doesn't look that bad. I don't know if I really need a new strut mount, because there's nothing in here that's movable. It doesn't move. It may be a little rusted right here, but as you can see, there's nothing that it needs. You see that? Just clean this up and put the new shock absorber strut right in there. Yeah, so I don't think I need to waste my money with a mount. It's all here. Just clean it up and that should be good. All right, guys. So that's it. I'll remove this. Remove the bellows boot. I'll go ahead and clean all this up. And all I need is just a new shock absorber strut. This is done. This is toasted. Look at this. I can move it with minimal effort. Not good. Not good at all. Alright guys, thank you for joining me. The next step will just be installing it. Shock absorber reinstallation time. First we're going to go ahead and install this bellows boot and just place it right on top. Then I'm going to get the mount and place it right on top of here. I was able to get this nut right back on by using this plumber's wrench, holding it at an angle and pressing down on it while using this impact wrench. It states not to use an impact wrench, but in reality it's so hard to get this on, so I was able to put it on without a problem. So the first thing we're going to do is attach the upper shock absorber bolts. These will be torqued down to 66 foot-pounds. So these bolts will be 18 millimeter. Move this rubber band. Let the harness hang. Install those later. Get it in at an angle. Bring it down. You don't need to align the bottom yet, because the first thing we're going to do is just do the up. Now it's time to install the rear shock absorber lower bolts. Right down here, we're going to place this right into here and line it up. Now that the two shock absorber lower bolts are now connected and torqued down, we're going to go ahead and install the 3 rear shock absorber wire harness retaining clips. Okay, we have one here for one. Let's go ahead and do it right now. This is one. This is 2 and 3. Take note of this particular section here, bend it, and you're going to go all the way right here and push in, just like that. We're now going to connect the rear height sensor electrical connector. That's this right here. We're just going to go underneath and connect this. Alright guys, now it's time to reconnect this connector, this ride height sensor connector. Push it in. There you go, you hear that click? Now it's in there. The very last thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and reposition the rear height sensor arm bracket bolt and position the rear height sensor arm bracket into its place and bolt it down. There's no particular torque specs, just tighten it as tight as you can, and that is it. And that is the last thing we're going to do before we actually put the wheel on and lower the car, and then you're done. Now that the fixes are done for the rear shock absorber, because I disconnected the ride height sensor, and now that this has new measurements inside, you will definitely have to do a ride calibration. So I do have a scan tool. I won't show it, but that's something that you definitely need to do, is a ride height calibration. You have to reset it and do the proper measurements. If you don't have a scan tool, definitely just go to your Ford dealership and let them know that you you may have new measurements on your ride height. Okay, but other than that, that's it, guys. Thank you.